Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, my name's Curtis Erisman. I'm an Entrepreneurship 20 and Financial Literacy 30 teacher at SAS DLC. I've been with SAS DLC for a year. I met Sydney through financial literacy, and I joined Business Club beginning of this year. And I went to the business case competition at the University of Saskatchewan, Edwards School of Business, and it was an incredible event for students and networking and yeah, scholarships award, but even just the fun of it and free food and just I don't know, good experience all around. I'm excited to go to the Moose Jaw one. That'll be a first for me as well. I'll be with Cindy for the Moose Jaw competition. And like she said, I'm a bit of an entrepreneur. I'm a musician. I have like an online music business, and yeah, just love everything entrepreneur.
Yeah. All right. So thanks, Curtis. I'm Jeff Klein. I'm a teacher with the DLC at the Saskatoon campus. This is year number 3 for me. Um, I'm really passionate about entrepreneurship and that. I had the opportunities when I went to high school to do similar things, not the same stuff, but through junior achievement and that. So I found that really valuable, and I've recently opened my own construction company on the side here. So like I think it's really important that students have the same opportunities no matter where they are in the province.
Awesome. I agree, Jeff, about the opportunities. So that's why we're trying to grow this with DLC and give the students around the province this opportunity. I know it takes a little extra efforts for the parents to bring them to this event, but I think you'll see the event is worthwhile and continue to grow that business experience. The thing in January is a great event, and the big one in May is a 2-day event that Curtis talked about. That one is a huge event. Edwards and Hill School of Business gives scholarships to kids. Edwards gives just to kids to participate, $1,000 just for participating. If you place, we get even more money. Now you have to be a grade 12 student going into Edwards or Hill. So if you're a grade 10 student, like I think Isaac, are you grade 10? Then yeah, so you wouldn't get the grade 12 scholarship in grade 10, but I've taken students in grade 10, 11, and 12. LJ came with me 3 years in a row. She got the scholarship in grade 12. In fact, we won School of the Year. So she got a $2,500 scholarship that year. But she had put in the work, and she actually ended up being the Edwards president of the school of the Student Business Association. She went into finance at Edwards, and she ended up in a class. Edwards has a class where they manage real money. There was a $200,000 endowment given from an estate for scholarships that they manage in real money in the stock market. And so it's turned into $4 million through student investments, just a student group of students investing that money. It's turned into $4 million. LJ was part of the investment group 2 years ago. She actually won an award and went with an all expense paid trip to New York to receive, Toronto, not New, no, maybe they did go, no, they went to New York now that I say that, because Bloomberg terminals they have in Edwards School of Business, they have Bloomberg terminals. So they went to New York and won an award for one of their results for best portfolio return in a expanding market or something like that. So she has got an amazing future ahead of her, but she started with me in grade 10. We actually started in grade 9 together. We did a debate club too. And so maybe that's something else we could add to DLC is kind of debate leads itself with business where you see both sides and be able to articulate and defend your position. But debate is actually very exciting. We'll talk about that. Maybe we can add that too along the way. But happy to have you guys here. A small group, but we do have 8 students planning on going. I'm just going to share my screen, just talk through the days. Or do you guys want to introduce yourself quick, the people on the call, or have anything else to say initially up front here?
I'm Isaac. I'm obviously go to DLC in grade 10. I'm doing like financial literacy and accounting 10. And yeah, this is going to be a cool opportunity. I've never really done anything like this, so it should be fun.
Nice to meet you, Isaac.
I'm Ms. Mom Laura, and yeah, thank you so much for starting this and making this opportunity available to our students. We're really excited about it.
Wonderful. Nice to meet you. Penny, do you want to talk about who you're representing?
Hi, Mrs. Noe, and hi, Jeff and sorry, I didn't remember your name. Teachers. Um, my son Shuheng Liu is studying in grade 10 in Waterbury School, and grade 10, it's almost the time for us to choose what major he may maybe study in university. So according to his interest, I would say that he's quite interested in business perspective. So that's one of the reason I come today. And also this semester he chose the financial class, and he made a big progress. I mean, he learns quite fast, and I still see his interest in this field. So we are quite looking forward to seeing you in November 12th, right? Yeah, in the event physically.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thanks for signing him up. Yeah, he's a student in my class and doing great. I think that's what's cool about doing this extracurricular stuff. We have a ton of students in DLC. I think I have 147 students right now, which is great. But to say yes to this opportunity, we know that you're all engaged or elevated. When I did my business club in Swift Current, if the kids wanted to attend, like I had 63 students at one point in the club, they'd show up every Wednesday and they paid $50 and we bought pizza and we had pizza lunch. So some people would say to me, oh, Cindy, they're only showing up because they want free pizza. And I'm like, well, they pay for it because it's $50 times, 10 pizzas is $5 a meal. So if they're that hungry, I'll buy them pizza, but I'm pretty sure they're going to learn something while they're there. But it wasn't easy for me to attract them because we'd have guest speakers, we'd have games, we'd have pizza. For students here that show up to our business club meetings, we had 10 today. For you guys to show up tells me you are even more engaged because I'm not bribing you with pizza. You are motivated by wanting to learn more, especially with business. And so it's an absolute joy for us to have you come with us because you deserve these opportunities as well, the students. Not that everyone doesn't, but I have 147 students and we've got 8 that said yes. So we're excited that you're here. If you want to bring a friend or someone else to come along or just enjoy this opportunity yourself, that's great. But we're really proud to offer this to our students and trying to grow it. And you actually are part of our story. We're telling a story about the DLC Business Club that we will showcase every year to attract and grow. We're in fact we're applying for an award already in terms of business programming in Saskatchewan. There's an award being handed out in January, and we've put together an application to apply for that award to recognize business education and what DLC is doing for kids across the province. So you're part of that story as well. And so if we do win, hopefully you can attend with us in Saskatoon to accept that award, because this isn't us, Jeff and Curtis and I don't do what we do without students. The 3 of us can talk to each other without students on this call, and it wouldn't be anything. But we need students here too to say yes and join us. So thank you for being here. Maybe I'll invite Rana. I don't know if Rana, if you're together with Hella or not. Do you want to say a few things? If it's no, that's totally fine too. Okay. Okay. Well, I won't make. If you want to say something, go ahead, take the mic off. But maybe I'll jump in and talk about the day. So of course, thank you for saying yes again and transporting your students to the event. Yeah, it's a little bit of an extra thing. I know I've had some students not being able. Can you see the schedule on your screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so basically the day is will be the same probably in Saskatoon in Moose Jaw and Prince Albert. We come in, there'll be a welcome table, we sign in, they'll give you some little gift bags, some lunch bags and Sask Polytech stuff. That welcome will take place at 9:45, where the organizers will welcome everybody and kind of give you a rundown of the day. And the students will be staggered start times, so everybody will get 3 hours to put together a presentation. So there'll be a video booth. There's actually a fun video booth. What is it? Turning, and we stood on it, took a 360 picture of us last year. So lots of different fun stuff to see in the campuses in Moose Jaw and Sask Polytech. I was actually just finished my term on Sask Polytech's board of directors, and they do a phenomenal job of training kids in their programming. So of course it's a recruitment event for their business program, and for you guys to consider. There's scholarships handed out to the top teams, but one of the feathers in their cap is they have about a 97% employment rate from students that come out of their programs, because the programs are very technical. If you take business at Edwards or Hill, I took my commerce degree in finance from Edwards, it was U of S at that time, not called Edwards School of Business, called College of Commerce. We take very general classes. I took lots of electives, I took French as an elective, sociology class, all those extra classes to make up my finance degree. With Sask Polytech, if you're in a business program, you take business classes start to finish. I taught their business certificate program for Sask Polytech for 7 years at Swift Current at the Great Plains College. And the classes you take are economics, finance, marketing, management, computers, accounting, 2 levels of accounting. It's all business. There's no fluff. There's no extra. The tuition is significantly cheaper than universities, and you can get a certificate after 1, a diploma after 2, or transfer direct entry into the U of S or U of R programming. So of course it's a recruitment event that they want you to learn about the business program. Excuse me. And it's great. So, everybody who comes to this event, they just want to showcase the program. And I firmly believe in it being a great avenue for students to maybe work and study at home and then go progress to the big university later. It's up to you, your choice, but they do want to show that. After that, students will get tours, and then they'll be escorted to their rooms. Within your team, the students will have 3 hours to work on their presentation. And so I'm going to provide, I think I provided in the email, a PowerPoint template that the students are suggested that they use. And the only reason I suggest they use it is, one, it's not cheating for starters. Some people say, well, they cheat. I've done this long enough that kids come in with a template. They already know the template. You can get them online. It's really hard to stop kids from using anything online or any sort of artificial intelligence. We don't want you to. We don't want you to use that. But we know it's a tool present out there, and we know templates are ready to go. So the template I send out to you, take a look at it. I can bring it up tonight, but use it as a guide to help you. Where the biggest weight in the judging will be is your presentation, right? I can make up the presentation. It's how you guys deliver it, the pitch, the articulation, the salesmanship, the effort to defend your ideas is what's going to put students over the top. It's not necessarily what is behind them. And of course, we want what's behind you, good ideas, but it's how you deliver it. You have 5 minutes to deliver a presentation that you've worked on for 3 hours. So once that happens, you'll work in the morning with your teams. They'll put you in rooms. You'll be provided a lunch downstairs. If there's dietary restrictions, please reply to me if you have any allergies or preferences, vegetarian or otherwise, whatever you happen to be, please let me know, because they will accommodate that. And then everyone will be called for, they'll actually come get you and ask you to a room. Excuse me, you can see from 12:45 to 2:30, the presentations are held in rooms. So again, in the morning, if parents come, the kids are working. So you can hang out, you can go shopping, you can do whatever. Teachers will just hang out with other teachers and do teacher talk or mark or whatever we do. In the morning, there's nothing set for us to do in the morning, but we can watch the presentations in the afternoon, and likely you will see other groups presenting. This is how they did it last year, and I love it. It's a little bit different in May in the Saskatoon, the big provincial event, but the way they do this one is each school or team has 5 minutes to present. And I'll go through like what I suggest you present, how you do your presentation, but you will random draw. So you give them your memory stick, they'll randomly draw out. Now you do get the advantage of seeing other teams present, but that can be a superpower or not, right? You might get nervous or watch somebody else's. So honestly, if you go first, that's sometimes good to get it out of the way. If you go last, you're like, oh, thinking of all the things you want to say and might kind of, be good or bad. So you sit and watch each team present, and then you leave the room. Once you're done, you'll see that says 2 o'clock to 2:15 optional campus tour. They do some judging, and they'll decide the top teams from the rooms. And at 2:30, they will they usually announce the top team. Last year, they announced top 2 teams, and they presented in front of the entire room. So now you're going to talk. Last year, there were 200 students there. I don't know that there'll be that big of an attendance this year. I haven't heard what the numbers are like. But if you're drawn to be one of the top 2 teams, they may ask you to present in front of the room, which is great experience. The hardest time it'll be is that first time. Every time after that, it gets easier. When we won School of the Year 3 years in a row, my students were the final presenters. And I remember that the stomachs hit the floor. They're so nervous. I'm like, just nail it. Just sell it like you're selling for your last dollar that you know, like you need this win. Like it's not even like the win. It's just like really get that courage. And it's, I don't like the word anxiety. I think of anxiety as adrenaline. Like fuel yourself with that adrenaline, that excitement, just go for it. And just really power through it. And so if we get selected in last, that'll be amazing experience. And kudos to those kids. So that's where, and then it'll wrap up by 3:00. There is an optional video submission thing that they ask the kids to do during the day. There's some pre-work stuff like that they've asked us. The way it works is we'll prepare you a little bit today, but ultimately it's the ability to come up with some creative ideas on the day of. So you'll work through a 1-page case scenario, and there's a scoring rubric that you'll get. You work in teams of 3 or 4 to develop and present an idea. The team, it can be 5 minutes long, and you can decide how you want to deliver the presentation. Lunches will be provided. If you need vegetarian or gluten-free or any dietary, please let me know. Actually, there's this email. If you can email lafrance@saskpolytech.ca, that's probably the best. Make sure the information gets straight to her. The other thing is each team, it's encouraged that at least each team has a laptop, or each member even has a laptop that you can work on a shared Google slideshow maybe, excuse me, if you want. One thing I did mention, Jeff, Isaac asked for a laptop, and I have one, but I'm not going to Prince Albert. I thought about it after. I'm like, oh crap. So we need to make sure we can get a laptop with you going up to Prince Albert.
Yeah, I can pick one up from my IT here.
For sure. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so the pre-work questions, there's some instructions here on questions about brand loyalty. What brands are you loyal to? What do you spend money on for entertainment? I'm guessing the case is on Saskatoon Rush, will be something related to selling more tickets, of course, entertainment. The prices of the tickets are, what did we say, $40 to $70 a ticket, a little pricey compared to, what did you say, Jeff? The Saskatoon Blades tickets were $25 if you want to watch a hockey game.
Yeah, you can get in for about $25. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm guessing that they're, needing some ideas. Usually the program, it partners with a company for business strategy. So last year was Rough Riders, the year before was Moose Jaw Warriors. This year is Saskatoon Rush. They're trying to promote their sports business program too, which they do have a diploma in sports business, and it's a big industry, right? And pretty big, especially related to marketing and loyalty, selling their merchandise, game day events, in-stand activities. So I don't know if anyone's gone to lacrosse game. Just by a questionnaire, like, have any of the 3 of you gone to a lacrosse game? Have you gone, Isaac?
No,
I
I've never
haven't.
gone.
Yeah, you haven't. Rana, you said no? Or that was Penny? No. And for me and Jeff and Curtis, myself and Curtis have gone, and Jeff hasn't gone. So if you look at just the polling here, 2 out of 6 of us went, 1/3. Not great results. How many of you guys have gone to a Rough Rider game? Do we have better results? 3 out of 6?
Plenty of times, yeah, in the past.
No, I've never been to a Rough Rider.
No, as well.
Jeff?
Nope, haven't been.
Same as this, me and Curtis. They're the only fools for sports. 2 out of 6.
I haven't been recently, though. It was back in the while ago.
I'm a fanatic. We used to have season tickets, but I love entertainment and sports. So, but here's my question. When we go into this, what would get you guys to go? Why would, that's what they're after, right? They want the 4 of you guys to go to the Rush game. What would cause you to go? Maybe you'll never go because you don't like sports, or there's got to be some entertainment value. Is it 2 for 1? Is it free tickets? Is it the halftime show? Is it the stuff you could win? while you're there? Is it the experience? Like, what would it take for you to go? They want people to spend money at their game, buy merchandise or something, anything. So if you were hired to increase ticket sales, what would you do? And that's probably something that they're going to come up with, I'm guessing, if I were to guess, right? And so some different types of purchases you've made, how do you decide to purchase your money? Or is there, you wouldn't even go if they're free tickets, and why? So again, captivating that market share, selling merchandise, something, anything. How do you interact at all with any sort of sport? Would you just go to the game? Would you watch highlights on social media? Do you do any sort of activity with any sports, or where do you spend your time and money? So those are things they want you to think about, because if you were hired, even though sometimes if you're not into sports, you may have a job where I don't know anything about this. Like one year, our case was with the Regina Symphony Orchestra. Our students were tasked with increasing attendance at the Regina Symphony Orchestra. Most of my students were like, what is that? I don't even know what that is. And I don't even have a clue where to start. And so sometimes you may have to think outside the box, and what would make you go, and what would increase your chances of going, or people you know in your life, or whatever. So it's kind of interesting case. And so I'm just guessing at what they might get you to do. Conduct your own research about the club. I've prepared, I sent out, excuse me. I did send out in the email, maybe I'll stop sharing. I'm just going to grab it. Actually, maybe I'll talk about this 5-minute presentation, and then I'll show you the presentation too. Okay, let's go back to this. So I'll just continue. So you only have 5 minutes to do the presentation. So in the 3 hours, how you break down your time is like, you usually, when you get the case, your team will sit down and you'll skim it. Or you highlight, bring some highlighters, and highlight important things. There might be some keywords or some tips. It's just going to be one page of what comes out at you. Like, what are some things that are interesting? What are some opportunities and threats? Some strengths, some weaknesses. What are things you can decipher? The good things and the bad things. That's a start. You don't have to present them, but that'll give you some help maybe to get things going. It's only 5 minutes you have to present. So you're going to spend the majority of your time on a solution. So don't spend too much time on the current problem. Just tell us what the problem is. Like right now, Saskatoon Rush is looking at selling more ticket sales, game day sales. I mean, the league is based out of New York, and I don't even know where the other teams are. We should probably know that before we go. Curtis, can you, or Jeff, can you guys look, like, who are the other teams in the league? Because it's kind of a big deal. Like, they play New York. Like, we don't play New York and Regina. We play other Canadian teams. So in football, so maybe we look at like the international draw. Like, is there some big lacrosse player that's like the Blue Jays player that's like hitting home runs that's like phenomenal, or whatever? I don't know. But really, when you come up with a problem, immediately you start thinking of solutions. And then what you do, because you only have 5 minutes. So 1 minute, like say 30 seconds is on the problem. We see the problem as being this. We think in order to find a solution, what you come up with is like what's called decision criteria. In order for us to find a solution, it needs to be easy for us to implement. Like, we need to implement this solution right away. That could be one decision criteria. How easy is your plan to implement? If you're like talking about a cross-country tour or cross-province tour, that's maybe doable. Not necessarily easy to implement right away, but maybe something could be done over the year. It needs to be easy to implement. It needs to be, you could say, profitable. Like, if I come up with an idea, it can't just cost me money. It needs to be profitable for the Saskatoon Rush. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it if we're just going to lose more money. Maybe it needs to be marketable. Like, can we market this? Is it easy? Is it easy to market? Is it going to be reach families? Is it going to be family friendly? Like, what is the criteria for your decision? That's what students will come up with next. Is like, how can we make this so that if I'm pitching this idea, let's say the 5 of you are my audience, and I'm saying, I'm here, Cindy Lowe, I'm a business consultant, and I'm going to do a pitch. I think your problem is this. I think in order for us to make a solution, it needs to be easy to implement, it needs to be affordable, and it needs to be result driven immediately. Some give me reasons why you should support my idea. And then I say, so now here's my proposal. So, okay, we're now a minute into a 5-minute presentation. So your next 3 minutes is going to be, we think you should do this. We think you should come up with a marketing plan. We think you should cut out the chaos and the music. We think you should reduce, like, because there's alcohol sales like crazy happening. Like families, I'll give you my perspective. I went to one game, and Curtis can say his perspective too. It was chaotic. I'm 51 years old, so I'm probably not like a 20-year-old might appreciate the game, but it was absolutely chaotic. First, they have super loud music playing nonstop. Then they have very, very drunk fans. There's a lot of alcohol being served around the stands. I wouldn't bring a little kid there, for one, just based on those two things in the crowd. The game is fast moving. I couldn't see where the ball was. Like in hockey, you can see the black puck on the white ice. I had no idea where the puck was. Excuse me. All of a sudden, the fans are cheering because they scored a goal. I'm like, what happened? Oh, they scored? Like the goalie looks like he stands there and just hopes it hits him because it's coming so fast. Like it was chaotic. And there's fan stuff going on. Like I spent more time watching the fans, the field, looking over here. Should we get a hot dog? Like it was overstimulation, I'll be honest. So is that a family-friendly environment? Maybe not. Is it a university student environment? Maybe. But my two daughters in university, and they're kind of broke. They're kind of poor. Like they don't have $40 tickets to buy ticket to the rush. So maybe they change your business model. Like maybe turn the music down. Like maybe it's just music like intermission types, or when the game's playing, pause it. Like, maybe, like, I don't know if you can change how you sell liquor, but maybe that's not the focus of the game, this big party. Maybe Curtis, you want to jump in? Because you said something about it felt like a big party like the whole time.
Sure, I was just checking my friend's Instagram because I was like, when did I go to that? And I looked at the photo and it was from 6 years ago. So I only went the one time. I did have a lot of fun. It was just a big party, but that all has to do with who's your target demographic, right? Like Cindy said, do we want young kids or I don't know, older people, I guess, or do we just want, um, people in their 20s or something that like to party? So, I mean, I did have a good time. But I mean, I haven't went back since, and there's no real reason for that. But maybe if they marketed it differently, what's stopping? Like, why didn't I go back, right? Like, I don't know. That's something maybe to think about. Um, yeah, it was. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Like, it was a lot of fun, but yeah, very loud and rambunctious, and depends if that's what you're going for or not. If you like think about different sports, like watching curling's much more relaxing and you know what's going on and it's not this giant, loud, crazy party. But if that's what you're into, then Saskatoon Rush, I highly recommend. So I think it's just something about really who they're targeting to go to that kind of thing. Um, Jeff, Cindy, and I had talked about this too. Like, if you're catching up with a friend you haven't seen in years, it's probably not the place you want to go because you can't hear anything. But if it's just a Friday night and you want to let out some steam or whatever, and have a night on the town, then yeah, it could be fun, or it could be part of I don't know, like a steak party or something like that, if that's what you're going for. But for everyday people, especially with kids, I don't know if that's where you'd want to take them if that's your scene. So something to think about if that's the business case that students are given. But like Cindy said, there's probably a high chance of it regarding seat sales or something like that. So yeah.
Jeff, did you want to jump in?
Sorry, trying to find the mic here. Yeah, I mean, like comparing it to other sporting events too in the province. I was recently at a Blades game, and it was also half empty. But it was a lot quieter than what I assume a Rush game is, from what I've seen from videos and from Curtis and Cindy's descriptions there. So the colleague that I went with, him and I were able to have a conversation while we were sitting there. So I don't know, and it all depends on like who the crowd is, right? Like with the Blades, a lot of it is like, from what I could tell there, it was a lot of families of the players and that, right? I don't know if you see the same thing with the lacrosse teams. I understand a lot of the players are like from outside of the province and might not have that same thing, right? Um, yeah, so I don't know. It's a really interesting situation there, with and a relatively new sport to the province, even though it's Canada's sport by definition, right? Like it is our national sport. So yeah, it's maybe it's a marketing thing. Maybe that's something they could look at. But yeah.
Awesome ideas. Yeah, I think those are really good ideas about what you said was target market. Like when you're looking at a business, who's your target market? You can't be everything to everybody. And if you are, you've got to figure that out. How do you be everything to everybody? Or maybe have like a family night, maybe have a college university night, maybe have a this night, a theme night. I don't know. Because yeah, if like you said, the Blaze game you could sit and visit, whereas the Rush game we could hardly hear each other. Maybe you have you actually as students, you can decide who their target market should be. Like you could say right now, it seems like you're targeting a very narrow audience of younger university kind of college level, sort of party kind of crowd, maybe that enjoys alcohol or something like that. I know I had a cousin that worked at an accounting firm. They would have pre-beverages at work after work. I can't even believe this. An accounting firm would do that. Maybe we picked education. We'd never be allowed to have pre-drink after work at the school. Anyways, and they have a bus that would pick them up and take them to the Rush game as a group of coworkers. And he was like 21, 22. That was the best thing ever. This awesome work perk. And I'm like, wow, you do that? And so that's a thing. Like they have these designated drivers and they pick the people up and it's like sold as a big party. And so is that working? Who's the target market? Maybe they should change their focus because maybe that's what we're going to look at. So I really like that point about who's your target market. If it is university students, maybe your ticket price is too high, $40 to $70. No, that might be all they have for the week for groceries, right? And so it's a little pricey if that's who you're going after. I also thanks Jeff for posting the teams, right? Albany, New York, Buffalo, Georgia, Vegas, Philadelphia, San Diego, like some really cool places around the country in the States, Fort Worth, Texas, and then of course across Canada, Calgary, Saskatchewan. Well, is it called Saskatoon Rush or Saskatchewan Rush? I thought it was Saskatoon Rush.
It's Saskatchewan.
Oh, it's Saskatchewan Rush. Okay. Yeah. Rock, Vancouver Warriors, and Halifax Thunderbirds. So cool draw, but not like you said, local, where families are coming to watch their kid play on the team. So it's an all-male team too. I don't know if we introduce female lacrosse or little kid lacrosse or have some little kids playing it at the break, but not everybody wants to just always go see a bunch of men run around and hit each other with sticks. It's we can watch lots of different sports that do that. So maybe there's a demographic opportunity for females to be in the game. I don't know. Female football is taking off. Female hockey, of course, is huge with the professional league in Canada now, women's professional league. I'm just going to show the PowerPoint because we've got a few minutes here to show the kids. This was last year's presentation, and I did email this out. So this is a template you guys can use. I would encourage you to use it just to help guide you. Keeping in mind you're being judged on your ideas, not necessarily the PowerPoint. So less is more on here, but I know it's hard to remember what you're saying. Just the first slide, I wanted to point this out. This SAZ was the initials of the kids on the team. It was Sahara, A was Anya, and Zohara, right? If I remember the girls' names, SAZ. So that's just something you could be. You're basically acting as business consultants. So you could call your team name whatever you want. They just don't want you to call your name the school name. So there's that you're just not identifiable. The second slide is just a bit of an agenda. It's only 5 minutes. Like in Saskatoon at the big conference, these guys have 15 minutes to present. So you may or may not want to put your agenda for the presentation. I might want to omit this slide just for the sake of time. But your first one is very important, that you identify the problem. And if you'll notice in this case, they have a main problem that's fairly obvious, and then a secondary issue supporting this problem. Now, one could argue that these secondary issues might be applicable to the case with the lacrosse. Like, for example, if they're looking at market expansion, want more ticket sales, is the secondary issue customer preferences? Perhaps. Right? People are buying as many tickets as they used to. Like Jeff said, the hockey Blades game is pretty empty too. Like, where's all the people? There's so many opportunities to spend our money nowadays, and we also sit at home and watch subscription services like I love my Netflix. Maybe people just are not going out as much as they used to and don't want to spend their money on those type of in-person things. Is there a lack of awareness of how much fun the game actually is? What's the competition? Because there's a competition for every dollar you and I spend. Everybody wants a piece of that. So there's definitely big competition. It could be digital engagement. Like, are people engaged with the team online? Do they even know the lacrosse exists? Like, maybe you guys weren't even sure what this was before you saw information about it. So the problem could be something like this, but that's a big important feature. So again, when you're preparing for 3 hours, you want to nail down that problem. Spend about 50% of your time on the solutions and the implementation plan, and then save yourself about half an hour at the end of the 3 hours to practice. Students often will spend all this time making a super pretty PowerPoint and then forget to practice. And then they just wing it and they're like, oh, Mrs. Lowe, we ran out of time to practice. So my biggest advice is give yourself at least 15, 20, 30 minutes at the end to practice out of the 3 hours. Keep a timer in the room. Someone's watching the time. Someone's the PowerPoint person. Maybe you have 2 people. I think we should have 4 on each team. 2 people are the idea generators. One's like the PowerPoint master, and one's like coordinating time and logistics and like K group, let's go practice. Some styles, presentation styles I can talk about in a second. The next thing they have is what we said was decision criteria. How are you going to decide what to do? How are you going to decide your solution is better than the next team? Because remember, you're competing against the other teams. Not that we have to win, but how do you want to come to the top of the pile if you're proposing a pitch? This is your pitch, your chance to, you go into your boss's office and you're like, hey, I got this idea I want to propose. How can you be the best one? And again, remember, these are so important skills for you when you do an interview. Maybe you go for a business loan, maybe you apply for a scholarship, maybe you apply for any program you want that's interview based. A lot of programs nowadays are very competitive and they got to have the best shine. And often they're done through the people skills and interview skills, because we can all see a very good resume. ChatGPT can make you a beautiful resume. How do you deliver on that is up to you. So this is that pitch. We're developing those pitch skills in our students. So in this case, what is the criteria? The idea, it was about Dakota Dunes, and we need to, the idea had to revitalize the Indigenous culture. That was in the case. They needed to jazz up the Indigenous culture of what Dakota Dunes has to offer. 2, it had to be marketable. If your idea is going to be idea, how are you going to market this? So you're going to say, we got to be marketable, and we're going to give you some ideas on how to market the things we're proposing. Sell it. And the third one, sustainable community. So it has to be sustainable. It has to be something we can implement and carry forward for years to come. It's not just going to be like a one and done. We just blew 50,000 on this thing that failed. No, it has to be doable and sustainable and something we can continue to do. So decision criteria is sometimes a hard one, but it's think about like, what are the must-haves that to make my idea work? Like, it has to be, usually it's easy to implement is one, it's affordable, and it's going to get the results you're looking for, something like that. Those criteria is an important step. And then the students in this case went through the marketing plan. So marketing is about 5 Ps, 4 Ps, some would argue there's 5. So 5 Ps, first one is target market, that's your people. Who are we marketing to? In this case, 18 to 30-year-olds. It might say in the case, we want more families at the Rush game. How can we do that? Well, then you're marketing family. Who is the target market for your product? If it's everybody, like you want seniors and little kids to come to the Rush game, who is it? Usually says in the case. The price point is another P. Where does your price fall into? What is your product? You're offering entertainment and experience, something, right? It's used up. By the end of the night, the experience is over, your $40 is gone, you don't have something lingering. So what is your product that you're offering? What is your place? Like we talked, some ideas in our business club meeting was, right now the games are played in Saskatoon. Is there a chance to play in other stadiums? Can we move like one special game to Regina? Kindersley, can they host? Like there's some big event center in Kindersley. Can we host it in Maple Creek? Like where can we host in Yorkton? Like if we really want to drum up loyalty here, can we go on a road show? Can you possibly do that, or have some like preseason games that are held? Yeah, go ahead, Curtis.
I think these are just all ideas, of course, you can pick from, but we talked about like what if the games were televised too, like because if the location's a problem, not everyone's in Saskatoon, but they love lacrosse. Like, where do they go to watch it? And I don't actually personally know if it's on Shaw or Max or whatever, but like, how could it get on to other services and maybe they make ad revenue? I just wanted to throw that in there.
No, that's a great idea. Like even subscribing, we subscribe to Live Barn to watch different sports, hockey and whatever else, in some of the rinks and around the province. And lacrosse actually in Swift Current is big. And so when lacrosse comes in the spring, we can still watch Liveborn and watch lacrosse in Swift Current if we wanted to. So that's a really good idea, televising the games. Yeah, and promotion. So those are your 5 Ps. And then what the students got into next was their recommendation. So here was their recommendation for Dakota Dunes. Ramp up the advertising, create experiences that hook younger generation, create some better social media, some challenges, photo contests. If you look up the social media, if you feel like it, Saskatoon Rush has got, it's okay. The Instagram's okay. It's got some grainy video. It's kind of almost looks a bit fuzzy. It's got like these very fast action, fast paced, kind of like what I'm talking about. The game day experience is just a lot of, it isn't like mic interviews with players. It's a lot of like, come down, buddy, we're starting soon, kind of a Harry Carey kind of presentation, in my opinion. And maybe that's their whole stick. Like that's what they're trying to sell. But is that for everybody, right? Maybe you guys suggest something different for them to think about with their social media. Look at what other sports teams do, look what the Regina Symphony does, if that's right, something different. Like they obviously need to think differently if they're struggling financially. I'm not sure they are, but one could guess that's what they're looking for is help. The students came up with host a game show, which is kind of funny, like host a game show at Dakota Dunes, I think. But what about hosting some game, intermission stuff? Some like practice lacrosse games, maybe some pregame stuff before the game starts, get the kids on the field, like whatever. So get people into the game. They've never played lacrosse, have no idea what it's about. I can relate this to pickleball because they're trying to expand pickleball, but also what is it, cricket? No, what game is played? There's a game that's being played that's a lot of newcomers play, and they played that in a football game this year in Regina. At halftime. What game was it? I can't think of the game, but maybe getting fans playing the game and enjoying it, and then collaborate with other businesses promoting the game. Like they could collaborate with, get some sponsors, maybe naming rights to the team, like Saskatoon Rush, maybe, or Saskatchewan Rush. Maybe we get some naming rights and name it after some, like we said, Monster drink is an energy drink. Like maybe they're the Monster, Saskatoon Rush Monster Lacrosse, or I don't know what. Yeah, it's pickleball, but it was something else. Cricket, I think it was, is what I'm thinking of. Yeah. So anyways, what's some ideas? So this is a recommendation our students came up with. It's 3 big ones. You might want to just do one recommendation because you only got 5 minutes, because they've got 3 really good ideas. And then what they followed up was with a short-term plan to implement it. Download Instagram, post pictures, trending, hire a marketing team, hire a videographer. That's like probably 1 to 6 month plan. They had a medium-term plan, like building photogenic locations in Dakota Dunes, hiring people, pop-up events, encourage guests to share their experience. The pop-up events are great. Like maybe the Rush show up at malls and they go in the parade and they like just everywhere and everything across Saskatchewan. Get those players, just because the season's short, get them selling the game across the province. And then they had and then also they costed this out. So what you're proposing would stand out is if you guys said, we're going to do this and we project it's going to cost $5,000 or $10,000. You don't have to have the full financials, but if you include a cost projection, the judges will probably be very impressed with that. Even if you're like way off or you don't really know how you came up with that number, you just say like, I think we're going to set aside a budget of 10. And once we spend 10, that's it. Or 20 or whatever. Like, because you want to, if you were truly proposing this idea to the Saskatoon Rush, you want to give them a number. Like, we think this will cost this. They're not just going to take your ideas and spend, the sky's the limit. So just say, we're going to budget 10,000 for this. Radio ads will cost 1,000, or right, whatever you want. If you come up with some numbers to support, financials are what set some teams apart. And then they had a long-term plan of the whole longer-term ideas that they had. They had budgeted a big budget there, $450 for a game show. That was a big idea. And then, so you might want just some kind of implementation plan. For us, for the purpose of this event, you're going to only have 5 minutes. So give them an idea, then focus on the idea, and then focus on the implementation plan. And that after your 5 minutes, you want your idea, your problem to be 1 minute, your intro, your implementation, your solution, and how to implement it to be at least half the time. Because really, if I give you an idea, if you were a business and I'm presenting to the 5 of you, you're not interested in knowing more about my problem. You know there's a problem. That's why you hired me. You want to know, what idea does Cindy Lowe have for a solution and how are we going to implement it? When we leave the meeting today, you want to know, what is the solution and how are we going to implement it? That's your job as students, to present that and sell them on why your idea is the best idea for the Saskatoon Rush. And you could finish with that. Say it in that way. We think by implementing our plan, it'll be the best plan to fix the problem that you've encountered, blah, blah, blah. Something about close it with saying, we are the right people for the job, pick our solution. We can do this best. So something about implementing it. And then the best one at the end is risk mitigation. This one is what risk mitigation means is, what if something goes wrong with your plan? Just think of, like, be devil's advocate. Like, what if, I don't know, like, what if anything falls out, like the roof collapses at stadium, or what if ticket sales are half of what we project, or what if the whole thing's a failure? That's what risk mitigation is like, what are the problems that could go wrong with your proposal? Now, very good question about the presentation. It says not everyone has to present. So you could have one spokesperson. It's better, it looks better if all of you have a turn. The way I suggest you do it, like here we have 11 slides. It's really awkward when you say one slide, I say one slide, Jeff says one slide, Curtis says one slide. When we alternate, it's really disjointed. What a lot of groups did was they got one person to intro the problem, break up into parts. So maybe it's 4 parts. One person does the intro. One person says, here's our product, our marketing currently. One person presents the solution, and one person presents the implementation and risk mitigation. Or maybe one person presents the solution and the how you're going to implement it, that 2-minute kind of portion. That should be your strongest player on the team. They're the ones like really supporting the idea and the good speakers. And then one person could finish with, thank you for listening to our proposal. Here's something we might come up with as risks to our plan, like that might go wrong and how we think you should deal with it. And then end with the last slide. So, the groups we took last year, the person that opened it and closed it, we had 4, were the quieter kids. There was 2 in our group that were more talkative and 2 in the group that were more quiet. So they opened and closed with the quiet kids. The 2 in the middle were the more chatty ones that really had the easier time speaking, because again, how you pitch the idea. I would hope that all 4 of you would speak, but I get that some people just want to be like there to support and help come up with it and don't feel comfortable talking yet, and that's okay too. But that's how you kind of break it up, is that you have like chunks, and time yourself in the practice part. Time yourself for 5 minutes, and just remember to speak enough for that 1 minute, kind of 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. There's your 5. So the other thing I emailed, maybe I'll stop for questions and then I'll pull up one more thing to show you, because it's 7:56 and I do want to just keep it to an hour unless you have more questions. Anything else coming up that is a question?
I just had a question, Cindy. I think it was the decision criteria page. Does that come from the case study, or do the students generate those points?
It's usually either one. So sometimes it might be obvious in the case where they hint of what's important to them. So what's important to them. So if I look at the Dakota Dunes one, it likely said in the case that it was important to Dakota Dunes that they revitalize Indigenous culture. That was probably stated. They might have said something else about marketability or the ability to, that should be easy to implement. And they might have hinted at this, that it should be sustainable, that they can put this plan in place for the long term. So sometimes it's hinted in the case. Otherwise, if it's not hinted, totally make assumptions. Just go for it. Now, making assumptions is easier said than done for me. But if you guys want to write down, or this will be in the recording, we'll send this out. Almost always we can support the following decision criteria. If you're not sure, almost always a decision criteria is going to be, is it easy to implement? That's one, that it's easy to implement. 2, is it affordable? So you're going to put together a game show that's going to cost $500,000. Not affordable. So that's a criteria. And 3, it should be go back to the problem. Like, does it increase ticket sales? It has to be, it has to increase ticket sales. That's so whatever we do has to meet these outcomes. So again, take some liberty. Students are wildly creative. Just come up with some assumptions on what is it that we want to do from this event, from your idea, and what is the case people looking for? If you are truly presenting to the Saskatoon Rush, what are they asking you for help with? That's kind of becomes your decision criteria. Does that help? Make sense? Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's a stretch. Sometimes we just go back to our must-haves. Easy to implement. Is it affordable? Does it increase ticket sales or some kind of, because business strategy in the end is about selling some kind of product, experience, service, sale, something. Yeah. Yeah. If you think of Jeff is an entrepreneur in construction, Curtis is a musician, both of them have a product or service they want to sell. So whatever business strategy they come up with, that's inevitably a goal. Think of it as a goal in the decision criteria. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question. Okay, I'm just going to share. I think you can see. Can you see my screen that says how will the teams be assessed? Okay, so this is important because they'll mark you out of these marks here. So takeaways from the pre-work. Those pre-work questions on brand loyalty and things that I had farther up here. That's the pre-work stuff here. They probably want you to throw something in your presentation about those things, like how do you make decisions? How do you make purchases? Consider purchases you made. Like how do you spend your money? How do you spend your time? Like maybe time is spent with family. Is that's important to you? Well, how can they get your family to the Rush game? Like, so something about throwing these answers somewhere in your presentation, they're going to mark you on that. So 5 marks for the takeaways from the pre-work, 10 marks for your originality. Like originality could be like, do you get a celebrity attendee? Like what kind of wild and crazy ideas did you come up with? Go ahead, Curtis.
Oh, sorry. I don't think we actually can see what you were pointing at there. I thought you were looking at the decision criteria.
Okay, here, I'll throw this in. Good.
Yeah, just want to make sure.
Sorry. I hit window instead of file. So
no, that's my bad. I said we could see it and we couldn't. There we go.
Okay, so this takeaways is 5 marks. So that's the first questions they ask you about how you spend your money. That's up here in the presentation I sent you, the info document I sent. So all these questions, you might want to throw it in, like, how do you make decisions? How do you buy things? How does your family spend their money? Like, how do you interact with any local sports teams? And if you don't, why don't you? So, think about how you make decisions with your money and how can the lacrosse team get you to spend your money there. The originality of ideas is 10 marks, so kind of something cool and interesting. One year I had a team, the case was on sports. It's called Suits for Men. It was a tailor-made suits out of Vancouver. And I don't know if it was a real story or not, but it sounded pretty cool. So the guy sewed tailor-made suits. So if you come into his store, Jeff comes in, he measures Jeff's body, shoulders, length of his everything, and they sew a custom-made suit for Jeff. Tailor-made suits. So Isaac comes in, we measure, Curtis comes in, all the suits are sewn to their bodies. The problem is the tailor who did the sewing was retiring, and the owner of the store had no longer had someone to sew these suits. So there goes his whole business model, right? He's selling tailor-made suits. So the students were told what to do. So my students were like, get Don Cherry as a spokesperson. And I was like, sure, because Don Cherry wears those wild and crazy suits. Do you know how much Don Cherry costs? Did you figure that out? They never thought about that. They were just like, Don Cherry makes custom-made suits, Mrs. Lowe, he's going to be a spokesperson. Okay, that's an original idea. And so originality of idea could be like, how different are you thinking outside the box than someone else? So yeah, anything goes really for your proposal. Practicality, is it easy to implement? Is it going to be practical? And effective of the idea. Is it going to give the results they're looking for? Is what they're going to mark you on. And again, it's judges. Who cares how you guys judge? The experience is what's going to be so valuable. You're going to have an interview down the road and they're going to say, tell me about a difficult time situation you put yourself in. You'd be like, well, I did this case competition one time. It was on lacrosse and didn't ever see lacrosse, but here's what we came up with as a team. And just the teamwork dynamics you did, the communication skills, the sweating it out for 3 hours. Maybe it's going to be like, wow, don't be stressed at all. Just use it as adrenaline. Enjoy the experience. Do your best. Give a pitch. And that's the learning here. And that's what we want to do with you guys. And honestly, the students that are coming are young. We have a couple grade 12s, but you guys are young enough to really take this and leapfrog against the rest of the students around the province that you're competing against for scholarships and everything else, like I said, to really have that ability, that business, we call it business acumen, to articulate some ideas and go through this experience will transfer to so much other stuff in your life. Okay, to finish, there's design tips. There's that PowerPoint presentation. The other last thing I wanted to share is I did send out a mock case. It's just a mock. It's just like ChatGPT made it for me. I threw it in there and said, make a high school student case competition about the lacrosse team. It did a fantastic job. In fact, it did such a good job. I was like, whoa, we could spend a whole month preparing. If I was in Swiftgreen in person, we'd have lunch meetings and pizza parties like crazy, and we'd go through and prepare with you guys. I don't have that luxury here, but I would suggest, does everyone know what I'm talking about, that mock case competition? I'll just maybe put it on the screen quickly. Here's what I would do if I were a student competing, is look at it, read it, and just look at some of the questions. So it actually did a pretty good job of the background of the Rush team. Like, chat is crazy what they can come up with. In fact, you know, it is a tool. You could throw in some ideas about innovative marketing ideas and see what it comes up with. But here are some things. It actually said, as a result, the front office is looking for innovative strategies to improve attendance, boost community involvement, increase revenue. This very well might be what the case is about. I have no idea. But I thought I'd give it a try to show you some ideas of what business strategy looks like. Opportunities, targeting young audience, social media engagement, partnerships, local businesses. How can they have partnerships? Like, how can they get partnerships with businesses to bring their employees down, to have birthday parties there? Like, how can they get people there, right? And so thinking about anything and everyone, associations, groups, get the Sask DLC teachers, give them a discount rate. If we bring, 10 or more teachers, we get $10 tickets. Well, we'll send a bus, right? Jeff and Curtis will go. Like, how can you drum up business in a giant way? Increase the fan experience. They've got some fan zone things. Challenges are declining attendance, community engagement, merchandise sales. Again, these might be realistic challenges at the lacrosse game. I don't know. This is a big one. Competition from other entertainment like football and hockey, or everybody's wants a piece of your dollar. I look at Netflix as a competition, because I don't want to go out in the wintertime and watch a game. I want to sit in my house. It's -40 outside. Like, the season itself is kind of a challenge because it's in the middle of winter. If this were a summer sport, you might get better attendance. I don't know, but they can't really change that. But it's something to think about. So your tasks, again, are brainstorm solutions, create a plan, do your presentation. And these are just some discussion points, some things you guys can think about in advance, like leverage local pride, Saskatchewan pride. Like, we got, partner with the Rough Riders maybe. The Rough Riders did an amazing job of selling their brand. They're, I think, 3,000 tickets short of selling out for the game this Saturday, Western Final. They should be sold out already, but that's a whole other discussion. But maybe they partner with the Rough Riders. I don't know. Just some things to think about is what I sent in this case. So that's it's 8:06, and thank you for attending. I've got an hour-long video that we're going to share with the other students. I just wonder, Jeff, Curtis, family, students, you guys got some ideas, questions before we finish?
I've just been taking my own notes a little bit too for Moose Jaw. Well, that's where I'll be, right? And Jeff's going to be in Prince Albert. But everything that Cindy just shared with us, I'll kind of come up with my own little short note too, because this will be my first time going to this particular one. So I want to make sure I can help the students. If you're new to this, which I think everybody is a little bit, but I think it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what they got for us, and how many students across the province are going to be there. That's going to be really cool.
Curtis, if you do up a thing, can you send it out again? Curtis did a really good one
Sure.
last time we went. I'm a talker, and then I forget to write things down and share it. So Curtis is my good.
Just
My
a
goodness.
couple, just I call it a cheat sheet, right? Just a
Yeah.
couple really important things you touched on that I think might be good to remember the day of. So
Yeah, go ahead, Isaac.
Hi, I was just wondering how many will be on the team in Prince Albert? And also, you said there was that mock PowerPoint or, sorry, I guess a template if that's okay if they use that.
Yeah, for sure. They can use that template. You got my email with those documents? I had the 3 attachments.
Yes, I think that was in the bottom. Yeah.
There was an info page, the PowerPoint, and then this mock case. There's 4 kids signed up for Prince Albert. I was sort of thinking 2 and 2, but actually the more I talked to Jeff, I think we should have 4 on the team because everybody's new to this and it's a lot of work for 3, unless we get there and you guys want to split. But I don't know. What do you think, Isaac? Like there's you and Darian, and Xavier, and both very strong students, and then Rana and Hala are friends. So we could have 2 and 2, or we could have the 4 of you together. It said teams of 3 or 4, but I think he said we could do 2 as well. Musha, I think we'll keep him as 4. Do you have preference?
I think 4 would be easier because then it's just less work for everybody, and then you can spend more time getting it polished.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter.
No, I agree. I think as I talk myself out of that 2 and 2 is initially what I thought, but it's new, and we have grade 10 students that, like, if this was your second time doing it or third time, you're like, oh, I got this. We can rattle off like what I did with LJ. She had the templates going within the first 5 minutes. She was like, put a whole bunch of stuff down. But I think, as you said, because the 5 minutes is such a quick presentation, that polished point you made is very important, because often the kids will spend, like, even in Curtis Hay, like, they spend a lot of time on the wrong stuff, and then they're like, oh, we ran out of time to present. And so I think you're right, to split the work, to make sure, keep everybody in time, to come up with ideas, all that is time consuming, especially for our first attempt. So I think, yeah, we've got 2 teams of 4. I think let's leave it like that. Yeah. And in the group, you'll figure out who's good at what. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to add, for the presentation piece then too, if you have 4 people, you can do kind of what Cindy was saying. You could have, or whoever's comfortable, obviously decide among yourselves, but have someone maybe start things off and then someone kind of in the middle and someone at the end, or gives you more people to kind of, yeah, like you said, Isaac, share the workload a bit.
I think it would become, it was just 2, it might be overwhelming to do all that work in 3 hours. Yeah. There might be adrenaline, but we don't want tears. So does that sound good, Fanny, with you?
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, Crenshaw will review the meeting recording and catch up with everything before we come physically.
Right on. Yeah. And Rana?
I think it might be I think Rana might be using an AI note taker or something. So I don't know if she's actually here right now. I don't take my word on that. But yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I see it says fireflies.ai note taker Rana. I'm like,
so maybe they couldn't make it and they're using a note taker. Yeah, that, to me, that explains it maybe.
So cool. Look at that. Learned something tonight.
We
AI.
should ask for those notes maybe.
Yeah.
Probably did a better job than me. So
good point, Curtis. You're much younger than me, you guys. Up on these technologies. Right on. Okay, well, thanks everybody. I'll just
thanks everybody.
Stop recording, and we will share it.